Thank you. Well, as Greg so beautifully put it, I'm Pete, this is Vitor, and we are ebankIT. So in the banking world, digital transformation is at the top of almost everyone's agenda. But what do I mean by digital transformation? Because it's not simply just taking a traditional banking model and moving it into a digital world. It's about how a financial institution can properly engage with all its customers across all its channels. But digital transformation is hard. It's really hard to do. Core banking systems are often old, sometimes ancient, and customers themselves are unreasonable, highly demanding, and sometimes actually disloyal. But doing nothing is not an option. So what does a bank or credit union need to do to digitally transform? Well, first, it has to play stick or twist with its core banking system. It has to choose whether to get a new one or stick with the old one. Both options are valid. Then it needs middleware, lots of middleware. So that middleware has to have transactions, business processes, workflows, a load of software in there. And then someone needs to wire that into the core banking system. When that's done, we need some apps. So we need user apps, we need customer apps, we need mobile apps for all the banking products. Then, for back office stuff, we need tools to manage that platform. And then on this side, also for branches or call centers, we need software there. So there's a lot going on. So let me ask you this question. In this digital transformation world, what do we think would be a fast time to deliver a full digital banking service? 1 year, maybe? I think 2 years might be more reasonable. Certainly in the UK, there is a bank that famously would have loved to have been able to deliver it in 5 years, but failed. Well, today, ladies and gentlemen, you're in for a real treat, because ebankIT is going to attempt to try and deploy a full core banking system in the cloud, the ebankIT digital platform in the cloud, wire them up together, and launch an internet banking application, and show a transaction all in under 7 minutes.
5 minutes, Pete. Just used to.
All in under 5 minutes.
All right.
Okay, Vitor, do your stuff.
You get this longer every time. So what you are seeing essentially here on the screen, just to explain a bit, on the left you have our projects, POCs that are running and aggregated to my account. On the center, the newsfeed support for our partners, for our clients, and on the right, features that we are either developing or that are on the roadmap with the obvious common feature to help us set this up. Now, let's create a new project. Let's call it Finovate Demo and deploy this to the cloud.
Okay, so what we're doing now is we're creating a cloud account. So we're putting services in the cloud. We need servers, we need some databases, and also we need a repository for all the code that the ebankIT Studio is going to generate. Now, today we're using Microsoft Azure, but this could be AWS or any cloud service, or it could be a local host, so we can install locally too.
Cool, give me just a second. Almost done. And done. All right, so what's happening now is we are essentially just connecting to all the environments, making sure that all the prerequisites are there, and deploying some supporting databases for the project. This is now our Finovate Demo environment. We still have 0 transactions created, as you can see there on the left. We have our front-end servers, application servers, database, we can connect to it, but we still don't have a solution. So now it's either import a solution, duplicate from an existing project, or deploy a new one. Today we'll be deploying a full new solution. So we will install the platform, the back-office tools. Well, we should and we would on a normal project install also the mobile apps, but for today we'll be installing just the internet banking to accelerate this. We will be connecting to Mambo, core banking system, this version, and the endpoint, the sandbox. That's not this one. This one. All right.
Okay, so while that's compiling, on the previous screen you'll have seen some of the core banking systems. So those are some of the ones that we have pre-built connectors for. But many of our customers have heavily customized versions of those, but also custom solutions, so we can integrate with those too.
Okay, so also should be noticed that we are deploying a retail solution, but this could also, contract-wise, if we set it up, it's also a contract SME solution. It's just about how the contract is set up. Now, what we have now is essentially we have our platform, the ebankIT platform, all the way from the channels, middleware, and connection layer, and we have a core banking system. These are not talking together yet, okay? So we now could either map manually or map the core automatically. We will attempt the automatic mapping. Because we have these pre-built connections, this usually is quite straightforward, or should have been. So let me just double check what happened. Well, on the left, Well, I'll give you some context. On the left, you have the ebankIT objects. On the right, you have the core banking system objects. And I'll just map these both to saving accounts. And should be OK. Yeah. So now you can see on the left, we have our environment, 13 transactions created. These are either consult or transactions. Well, now let's see if everything is working correctly. So let's launch the website. We are logging in using our default user. Our default user is mapping to the first user that is found on the core banking system. This is essentially just to make sure you get a testing environment up and running quite fast. So we can see here our balance, $5,410. I'm switching now to the Mambu core banking system back office, logging in into our sandbox, and we'll just double check that we have the right balance. So let's go to our first active client. And you can see here on the YBN account, the balance is $5,410. So at least checks out. Not stressful, Pete. So as Pete was saying at the beginning, the next thing we need to do is essentially a transaction to validate that everything is working correctly and correctly deployed. So let's make a transaction. Pete, get me a value with your charm from
Sir, can you give me a number between 50 and 100? 72, please.
$72, right. Description. Your name is? Jerry. Thank you so much. Towards, I assume. Let's continue. So now we have the second step on the transaction. And finally, we should have the transaction executed. If we go now to the account, we need to double check this. OK, so on the account, the balance has reflected this transaction. On the transaction, we have the 72 that Jerry set. And if we go to the details, because if you remember, we mapped the comment to the description. So, yes, done. Sorry.
Finished. OK. Thank you very much, Victor. Thank you, thank you, thank you.